Hello everybody, greetings from somewhere in the Costa Brava. I'm just back from my holidays and I've been inquiring around to see what was going on, and I'll let you know the few things I found out about Neymar, about Coutinho, about Bale. Starting with Neymar. The latest is that Barcelona representatives have travelled to Paris today and they are there negotiating the future of Neymar. Of course, it doesn't mean anything because sources at the negotiations are saying that everything is possible. But you have to say that Barcelona are favoured to get Neymar. Things that have happened in recent weeks suggest that the player, of course, as you all know, has made his mind up, wants to go to Barcelona. For 2 months he has not played for PSG. Last season, of course, after the game against Rennes, the next day he travelled with Brazil without permission. He was asked to come a week earlier from holidays, which was to stay an extra week, which was agreed with the previous director of football, Enrique. But the new one, Leonardo, and there's a tense relationship here with him, told him to come a week earlier. He decided not to. Even though Piqué has said to Neymar publicly, do say that Barcelona is where you want to go. I think Neymar has done enough steps, or he feels he's done enough steps for now the clubs to take charge and reach some agreement. Now, Barcelona will like this to happen pretty soon. They're willing to offer 100 million euros and Coutinho, and basically PSG are asking for Coutinho, yes, but 150 million. Everybody knows that the relationship between PSG and Barcelona is not the best. There's been many cases in the past, from Di Maria to Rabiot to others, in which PSG and Barcelona did not understand, Berratti as well, did not understand each other, did not see face to face. PSG not happy with the behaviour of Barcelona. PSG owner quite happy actually with, or having a close relationship with Florentino Perez of Real Madrid. More on that in a little bit. But basically, that's where the negotiations are going to start. Barcelona have leaked the fact that they are going to Paris, which suggests that they are optimistic, that they think things could happen, or at least they will make it sound like they've tried, they've done the best. They cannot put money on the table, but what they can do is offer players. Coutinho is one of them. Rakitic is another one that they're willing to offer, but not Semedo, which is one of the players that PSG may have wanted. So negotiations are taking place. It doesn't mean that the clubs have not been speaking, because they have been speaking for weeks. And as I said, people in both camps are saying everything is possible, including some say Neymar staying at PSG. Neymar has told everybody he doesn't want to go to PSG. So what has been the role of the likes of Messi and Luis Suarez, who of course keep a WhatsApp group with Neymar? They want him to come back. But I'm hearing that Messi has not done extra steps for Neymar to arrive. If the club have got the money, if they can pay for him, it's up to them, of course. If it's down to the players, yes, of course, they would like to have him. They have great memories of him, they're good friends of him, and will make things difficult for Valverde to have so many players. But also, it gives them a lot of variations. I think we've entered a new phase in the cases of Luis Suarez and Messi. They'll be rotated more often than not. Well, put it in a different way, they will be rotated a lot more than usual. We saw already last season that Messi saw himself resting more than he had been in the history of with his time in the first team of Barcelona, and there'll be more of that. Of course, Griezmann can play as 9, as 7, as in different positions up front. With Dembele, who's playing really well in this pre-season, Barcelona have got a lot of alternatives up front. So we will see how that develops. But what about Real Madrid? Well, Real Madrid have not put an offer for Neymar. They sending mixed messages. We're not interested, but we're keeping an eye on things. 3 months ago, Florentino Perez actually said to people I know that he had all tied up with Neymar, that Neymar was going to go to Real Madrid. Since then, those that speak to Florentino have been saying, no, he's not interested. Yes, he is, but he hasn't put an offer. Yes, he was all agreed, but now it isn't. So basically, at the back of it is Florentino Perez will like Neymar to come to Real Madrid. He cannot afford it right now. He'll have to sell James, he'll have to sell Bale, he'll have to sell Mariano. Those are the 3 players that Zidane has identified as dispensable. But no offers from Bale. What happened to Bale and China? And what is going to happen to him? Well, it was all agreed with China. just literally the day before it happened, Florentino Perez stopped it. How and why? Well, because it was going to go for free. China were willing to pay the wages. Remember that at the moment in China, if I'm not mistaken, if you make an investment of 100 million for a player or 50 million for a player, you've got to pay 50 million to the government as tax, but it's not tax really, it's just a way of stopping a little bit the investment going outside China and making things more expensive for clubs, so they invest more inside. So those 50 million can go back, if I'm not mistaken, to football somehow, if they pay 50 million for a player, but a 50 million player become a 100 million player. So anyway, they had agreed with Real Madrid that Bale will go for free, but that in the last few hours before the transfer was confirmed and signed, Florentino Perez changed his mind. No. Why? Because he heard that James could go to China for 40 million euros. James is still at Madrid. It was a lie. He believed it. He decided to change the goalpost, and that means that China, obviously the market is closed now, not interested in Bale, of course, after that last change of mind from Florentino Perez. So that's where we are. And Bale, what is he going to do? Because some say, well, if Bale went to PSG, actually, Bale doesn't want to move. Bale has decided to stay at Madrid. How can you keep him, how can you push him away? No idea, because he wants to stay. So it looks like he will stay at Real Madrid. And it will be interesting to see what Zidane, who goes from not calling him for a game to actually make him play in the second half against Rome, I think it was, in a friendly, who goes from 3 at the back to 4 at the back, who just goes from here to there, because as we always known, Zidane has got a clear idea of what he wants as a coach and manager. Basically, and it's strong to say for somebody that won the Champions League so often, but in times of when everything goes well, when everything is switched on, he's okay. In times of crisis like now, well, he lost 3 out of the last 4 games in the league. In this pre-season, 7 games, 3 defeats, 2 draws. A lot of doubts, a lot of pessimism, and Bale could just, at some point, maybe just become available again in the mind of Zidane. But quite clearly, Zidane and Bale don't get on. Bale, I don't think he's done anything personal, but Zidane doesn't like him. So to change your mind would be difficult. But in any case, you sense an air of pessimism at Real Madrid. So basically, Neymar, if he was signed, would change all that. Will switch that pessimism into hope, if you like, that it could be a good season for Real Madrid. It's an strategical, not a needed, an strategical move from Real Madrid. But right now they are in the back foot because Barcelona have taken the initiative, and as I'm saying, Neymar wants to go to Barcelona. Coutinho will be happy to go to PSG. PSG is also negotiating with Balague, and they will get him for 60-70 million euros, so they've got that on the table. But Coutinho and Balague together, I'm not sure it will work, so maybe one or the other, I'm not sure. In any case, Coutinho will be happy to go to PSG. PSG happy to have Coutinho as well, they said, but they want 150 million, not 100 and Coutinho, which is what Barcelona is offering. 150 and Coutinho is what they want. So there's still a long distance, big distance between both clubs, and a mistrust from PSG towards Barcelona. Meanwhile, Bayern Munich would like to have Coutinho on loan, so they want waiting to see developments as well. Remember, the transfer window closes on the 2nd of September in Spain. It closes earlier in Germany and France, so we'll have to see how it all develops. I just thought that having made some calls and found out a couple of things, this will be a good way of saying hello, I'm back.